So we're actually here. The main reason why I asked Steve in is because I thought he would be the best person to talk about perception and focus. I've got a lot of people who actually I'm going to get for a lot of different questions, but I knew, especially about there were certain things that you wrote, and I'll get into that a little bit later. That you spoke about perception and focus, and did a bit of blogging about not that long ago. But so perception and focus is I guess, for me, it is everything. So the question of what is the meaning of life, no matter how you view the question, how you read the question, what it means to you, what it means to others, it's all individual people's perception and focus. And I guess one of my main things by reading the blogs and what's going to be part of the podcasts in particular is going to be all about how we've got a planet with 7 billion individual people, all with their individual perceptions and focus and morals and values and experiences and no one is exactly the same as somebody else. So when we actually walk around and we use common themes and terms such as, what does everyone says about, common sense, not being so common. It's like, that's because there is no such thing as common sense, because everyone's idea of what common sense is completely different, because it's based on how we actually perceive it is, and because people have lived a different life, it's never going to be the same. So that's why...
complex.
Yeah, it is. It's incredibly complex, and it's overall, and that's why I gave you the hardest one of all, and I brought this to you in. So I thought I'd give you the first question. So how can we define what is true and what is not?
Or
can we?
Defining something seems to be, we can only define things for ourselves. I mean, what is true or not?
It's a pretty broad question.
Yeah, I mean, you can't even look to science these days. It's kind of like, what is true one day isn't true the next. And everything seems to contradict itself. So, and that's not just science, that's everyday life. Everyone contradicts themselves. I've probably done it 10 times a day, It's,
and we will do it during this interview.
Oh yeah.
Undoubtedly we're going to contradict.
I'll probably do it in my next sentence.
And I want people to bring it up. Send the messages in. I'll answer. I love it.
But as far as we know the world, as far as I know the world and you know the world, and I assume everyone knows the world, is by defining it themselves. And truth is purely subjective. And I very much enjoy challenging not just other people but myself on what I think is true, like beliefs that I've had for so long, trying to challenge them every day if I can be bothered, because sometimes it's pretty painful, but life is purely subjective, but it is open to change. Feels like we're at the cutting edge of creating our reality as in each moment. So what is truth in this second may not be in this one.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm all for that. It varies moment to moment. Individuals. Our present. Things that I thought was devoutly true without a question of a shadow of a doubt. When I was 18. Compared to when I was 20, or I even remember being a teenager going when I'm 15, just thinking to myself, I can't imagine, life being much different in a year's time or anything. And and I did that then from 16 to 17, and I did that from 17 to 18, just thinking, okay, I think I've got a grasp on this at the current. Yeah, exactly. And of course, having something like an awakening that I went through is just through my whole universe. Upside down, everything I believed was true was completely different.
Well, that's a good definition of awakening, just shattering all your beliefs.
Yeah, and because all those beliefs were based on egotistical connections to my history, to my past, that started there and just kind of welled up into this big pile of crap.
Yeah.
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 So, but yeah, so that's a good question. That's a good answer. I mean, so thank you.
Yeah, another thing with truth, or what's the word? Falsities, non-truths.
Yeah, non-truths. That's the best. Yeah.
I've read a lot of work by David Hawkins, and he uses the muscle testing technique.
Okay.
He seems to, and when I do it, I seem to be able to get truth from a collective truth, and it seems to work, but I am quite skeptical, as in there might be a objective truth beyond what I can grasp or measure, but anything I discover will still be, filtered through my senses, and it'll become subjective anyway. But it feels like there's levels of truth. There's truth to yes or no, making decisions via the intellect, and there's a deeper truth, like the unconsciousness, like the body, that stores more truth. Like the body can't lie. It's like it is the time capsule of your life. It stores memories. It stores your life. So I trust my body more than I trust this.
Yeah.
And then there might be more levels of deeper truths where it becomes less about my truth and more collective. But as we go more and more collective truth, it gets a little bit more complicated. Yeah.
Yeah. No, agreed. And just in regards to everything you're saying, because I wish Steph was here, and she's actually going to be talking about the past, which is next. She knows about how the brain development actually occurs, so I'm going to be talking a lot about neurotransmitters with hers and everything. And yet, where the conscious mind doesn't really kind of start really forming, I think, till you're 2 years old or so, and it's everything's kind of subconscious or development. She knows more about this. I'll let her actually come and do it. But yeah, that's the same thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. And so so it's all about the subconscious pretty much is where your reality kind of lies and where everything's kind of soaked into.
Whether you like it or not.
Yes.
There's some pains in there. I mean, that's why it's unconscious, right? It's some of it's too sharp and painful to be conscious, but that's what tends to run our lives.
It does. Yeah. Beautiful. All right.